This episode of Voice of Morgantown Live is brought to you by the delicious Blue Lot Bourbon. Of course, please drink responsibly and must be 21 years or older to enjoy. Visit MountaineerBrothers.com, and a special feature on MountaineerBrothers.com is their incredible playlist about Blue Lot Bourbon, and we will show you one of those songs right now.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Mountaineer Brothers.
I roll up slow in the whiskey van, tailgate throne. 6 years stash in the glass, that's H cologne. Cold dust, sunrise, shimmer chrome, picking up the glow. Blue and gold banner blowing like it's Rockefeller Road. Pepperoni rolls in the full state staple. Pass the bottle around, fam. We all at one table, West Virginia spirit. Mountain air in my lungs, we run the numbers like the scoreboard. Once the musket sprung, talking go for 6 ring, chasing crowd raising. Quarterback vision, but this bourbon's the occasion. Turn a lot to a field, every post a pylon. Mic dropping bars hotter than a summer ride along.
To the blue line, lights stay on. When the drums hit hard and the bourbon's strong. From the hills to the goal line, hear that sound. Pass the bottle around.
And we welcome you in to the Voice of Morgantown Live. I'm Rush Bishop, everyone. Glad to be on this episode. I am joined by Bernie, of course, and we have some special guests on. We got Mike and Tim joining us from. Hold on. I am sorry, guys. We are having some technical difficulties on our end, but glad to be back with you. I am sorry. Again, I'm Rush Bishop. Glad to be joining with Mike and Tim of Blue Lot Bourbon, a new sponsor here, part of the Voice of Morgantown. Boys, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you all doing today?
Very good.
Fantastic.
So let's talk about this a little bit. Blue Lot Bourbon. This is something that Mike, we were talking about this earlier today. That's newer, and you guys kind of started this as a passion project, as a hobby. Next thing you know, you get an Ashbrook liquor store, and you're just exploding off the map. Talk to us about your beginnings. How did this all begin?
Well, Tim and I, we've always been West Virginia super fans, and our venture into the bourbon business was really kind of an accident. Kind of goes back to the pandemic with COVID. We're home, didn't know if we'd ever get back to the Blue Lot again. We're setting up a text a chat on Signal. We called ourselves Mountaineer Brothers because that was about 99% of what we talked about. And one of the subjects that came up is like, hey, if we ever get back to the Blue Lot, wouldn't it be cool to have our own small batch bourbon? And so fast forward a couple years, we're back in the game. And Tim calls me one day, and he's like, "Hey, there's a small distiller that's willing to do a small batch bourbon for us." I said, "Let's go for it." I said we'd love to have it. So the original plan was just for friends and family. That was the whole thing, and once we gave it out to some family and friends, people said, "Well, the bourbon is good, but the branding really is what hits." And so Tim and I were sitting on his back porch, a little over a year ago, and we're like, "Hey, do you think that this could be a business?" And we said, "Hey, let's let's have some fun and try not to lose too much money. That was our original mission statement. And we made our first commercial delivery to Morgantown, and we were kind of sweating bullets about it, literally like 2 days before the Penn State opener last year. And from there, we went on to sell almost 2,000 bottles in about 3 months. So it was completely unexpected.
Well, Mike, I think one of the things I love about the story is your connection to the school. So I think everybody would love to hear about the Morgantown connection and why it was so important to you guys. And you've shared that with me. I love the story, but why don't you tell everybody why it was so important to you and how this beautiful bottle, by the way, one of the first people in Pennsylvania to have this, everybody.
Yeah.
My guy Mike here gave it to me, drove and met me with it. Don't y'all be jealous, but this guy had a great story about why it was so important to do this, not just for the branding component, but the story and friends. And I think everybody can relate to the Mountaineer story when you hear it. So, Mike, fill us in.
Well, the thing is that we originally wanted to be 100% West Virginia, and that was how we started. And ultimately, we transitioned to sourcing our bourbon from Kentucky. We now source our bourbon from world famous Bardstown, and specifically their Green River distillery. But we still wanted to make sure that West Virginia was still a significant part of our brand. And so what we did was we established a relationship with a bottler in West Virginia. So we actually pay extra to ship Kentucky bourbon to West Virginia. We have it dumped, proofed with West Virginia spring water, and bottled in West Virginia, which actually makes it a West Virginia product. And the new Blue Lot 6 is truly world class.
Yep. So, Tim, I mean, Mike has kind of given me a little bit of the backstory, but I think the thing that resonated with me and every other alumni or anybody that's went to West Virginia is the Blue Lot connection, right?
Yep.
When Mike told me the story about why you guys did this to begin with, it was because of how much fun you had in the Blue Lot and just all the great times you had in the Blue Lot. So maybe speak to that a little bit so everybody knows that something that starts as an idea can come to this fantastic fruition that you guys have built.
Yeah, very good. So I actually graduated in 1985. And as we were talking a little bit ago, you think about some of the famous memories you have of Blue Lot and what goes on there. I actually have a piece of the goalpost from 1984.
Oh, nice.
So this is
Yes,
the West Virginia Penn State game where we beat them 17-14. If you look close in some of the old pictures in the newspaper, you might find someone who looks similar to me hanging on that goalpost when it came down.
with hair, though, right? With
I had hair.
Immediately.
But so that, that's where it started with me. You go back there that year, that 1984 year, we beat Penn State at home. We also beat Boston College at home. And actually, I lived part of the year down in Melbourne Beach, Florida, where I happened to run into Doug Flutie quite often at the local pizza joint. So I get to rib him about those victories that we had over his Boston College team multiple times. But that carries all the way forward, to I lived out in San Diego for about 10 years. I moved back to West Virginia, and I started going to the Blue Lot with friends of mine from Martinsburg area. And as they invited me, and then I brought my friends Mike and other friends into the tailgate, I said, well, what can I bring? What can I bring to the tailgate? They're bringing all kinds of food and drinks and what have you. And so early on, I said, well, I mixed up a batch of bourbon along with apple cider, which is a great fall mixed drink. And then I bought a great sound system. And so my contribution to our Blue Lot tailgating for the last 6-7 years now has been what Mike and I call West Virginia Jungle Juice, which was bourbon and apple cider with a little dash of champagne on top, and then a great music selection. So I try to keep the fun and the energy up all the way through. We start at 6 a.m. I get there, one of the first bands in the parking lot, and depending on the game time, it goes all day. And so it's just been a lot of fun. Kind of rejuvenated me with fans of West Virginia sports, and just kind of reconnect with friends. I mean, that's really what it's about. When you talk about the game and the Blue Lot, it's really about that camaraderie that you have with your friends. Sometimes you only see them on Saturdays, depending upon where you live around the state, but everyone comes together and on those days, and at least we get to cheer for the Mountaineers. It's a great time.
Man, I love that story. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, think about that, everybody, right? You get a group of friends that just continually love the Blue Lot. One year they say, hey, we have a great kick-ass tailgate. We should make our own bourbon. And then the story evolves, and you guys are making the best bourbon in town right now. For anybody who hasn't tried it, I got it right here, and I'm telling you, it is good bourbon. So everybody needs to get yourself some Blue Lot bourbon and make sure you try it.
And it goes quick. We as you guys were talking about earlier, we were on the phone. Ashbrook Liquor Store, sells out like that. So if you see it there, just grab it. You don't know if you're going to come back and there's going to be any available. But as we were just talking about, right, the Blue Lot, the camaraderie, seeing your buddies. You may only see them that time of the year, and then, hey, we'll see you guys again next year, right? But something unique about the Blue Lot as well that it's kind of funny is it's also a hospital parking lot, right? It's only in West Virginia, right? You got a hospital on this side, and then you got football right there, and then you got people in the middle there. So it's the camaraderie.
You're going to need that hospital.
Oh, hey, quick liver pump, and then be back for the third quarter, right?
But, Mike, we can't promote that. Come on now, man.
Well, I mean,
drink responsibly, everyone.
I know, but I have a lot of doctors in my family, so I'm just like giving them a little shout out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But so the Blue Lot is a different place than anywhere else. We all agree Morgantown, West Virginia in general is different. What makes your whiskey so different? What makes it so unique?
Yeah, well, Tim, why don't you go and expand on that? I mentioned that just a little bit before, but go ahead.
Yeah, so as Mike didn't mention, so one of the things when Mike and I, when we started talking about doing this project, you have the choice to source whiskey from a lot of different places around the country. We wanted our brand to be a top high quality premium, ultra premium whiskey, right? So we didn't want to skimp on that. And so as we kind of looked around the landscape, Mike had contacted a representative at Bardstown Bourbon Company, and we went down. They sent us some taste tests. We went down to their facility. We chose a mash bill out of their Green River distillery. It's a Kentucky 13 mash bill, so it's 78% corn, 13% rye, and an 8% barley malt. And it's a mash bill that they do. It's rather limited. I actually had some friends of mine in Florida who I respect very much their palate, and they helped us make a selection of 3 or 4 samples that Bardstown had sent us, and we picked the Kentucky 13. It has that, with 78% corn, you get that standard sweetness that you get with most bourbons. So, 51% or more corn is a bourbon, 78% corn, you're going to get that sweetness. But that 13% rye, it really gives that just enough of a spice, a little bit of that pepper that highlights it. And we've had multiple people taste it over here these last several weeks, and we had tremendous response. So it just has that good combination. It's a 100 proof whiskey. And so it's not something that you're going to really, mix with the, bourbon and Coke or something like that. You're going to, refined palate. You're going to drink it straight or over ice, but it's a great sipping whiskey, and it's a really high end product. I think when you grab it off the shelf and compare it to all other brands in this price point, you're going to really enjoy it. 6-year aged. What that means is, when you look up, what really makes the taste of whiskey, is it the mash bill or is it the aging in the barrel? And a lot of people will tell you most of the flavor of the whiskey comes from the aging in the barrel. Yeah. And so that oak barrel is going to bring that vanilla and caramel out in it. And a 6-year aged is basically geometrically more mature than a standard 2 or 4-year aged bourbon, which most products that you pull off the shelf are going to be. It also then happens to pair well with our focus, go for 6 points touchdown, football-based whiskey. So it really just lined up together, and we're really happy with what Green River is able to provide us.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I could tell you, and I told Mike, I mean, for me, Bullet, Buffalo Trace, Whistle Pig, I've done them all, but the thing and I have to say, I mean, I would put this against any of them, but anytime I look at this bottle and the branding, right? This is what gets me. This is what I think was brilliant on both your parts. Was just looking at this, and I'm thinking of the blue lot, and I'm thinking of like everything that's related. My time in Morgantown, going back and forth. Obviously, if I'm buying any kind of bourbon or whiskey, I'm going to look to support somebody that has this. I think it's brilliant marketing, guys. I really do. I think it has a lot of legs. Credit to you both. But it's a fantastic product with brilliant marketing that has a direct correlation to what we love as Mountaineer fans. So I don't know how you go wrong with this, but I love it. Kudos.
Well, we certainly appreciate that, Bernie. This is what I'll say is that, it is, I think, that people have gravitated towards the branding. And for that reason, we wanted to make sure that we had bourbon that matched the branding. And we do now. The one thing I will say is that the people that it's kind of like if you know kind of product. If you are a WVU football fan and you like bourbon, you are 100%. You are 100% our customer. There's no question about it. And it's so gratifying to see how people gravitate towards this. And the stories that they tell, I mean, obviously there's a lot of heartache and if people have an opportunity to listen to our playlist, there's songs in there that talk about, the heartache of being a Mountaineer fan. And we wanted to address all the cultural aspects of what it means to be a WVU fan and being in the blue lot.
Yep. Well, the other thing that I love that you guys are doing for all of our fans, all our listeners that are watching right now, for anybody that goes back to Morgantown and gets to experience our tailgates, which everybody does, these guys have the best tailgate going on right now. And they have a big flag that shows what they're doing, but they're also giving out free blue lot. But the thing is, it's not even free blue lot. They have a fantastic product that Tim talked about earlier with the drink. They're going to eventually package that. And I think that's what you look at. So, Tim, tell me again what that drink is that you're talking about for the ladies specifically, because that sounds tasty to me. I might have to turn in my man card, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we've got a lot of folks that come up at times and maybe not be bourbon drinkers, but what we mix up is bourbon, pretty much about 1/3 bourbon, 2/3 apple cider, and depending upon the time of the season, whether or not we serve it cold over ice or whether or not we heat up the apple cider and serve it as kind of a hot toddy. And but we mix the bourbon and the apple cider, and then we have a fancy champagne crap there. And Mike pulls out the champagne with the towel over his arm.
You lost all the men with the champagne. Right. That's what we got to work on.
Right. Then he tops you off with the champagne pour on the floater.
Let me see if I have
it's a really nice. It's a nice, refreshing drink. People really enjoy it.
Yeah, we have a. When you go to a fancy restaurant, and they have the wine, the thing that they put next to your table to put the wine in, we have a beautiful one that's gold, and so that's what we hold our champagne in for the West Virginia Jungle Juice. If I can pull up a picture of it, and you're able.
Oh God, no, Mike, don't devalue the brand with the Jungle Juice. I think anybody that went to West Virginia is thinking Jungle Juice, frat house, trash can.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just say, I can't tell you what the new name will be when we eventually have an RTD. It won't be Jungle Juice, though. Okay?
I think we all appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think that's again, I mean, this is, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you guys only started this company a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, our incorporation date is 7/11, 7/11,
Nice.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the conversation I had with you the other day, Mike, when we met, the thing I love is what you guys are trying to do with the RTD market. So fans, if you're not familiar, it's Surfside, Stateside, White Claw, whatever you're thinking, right? But these guys have some fantastic variations on their drink that I think they're going to bring. And Tim just talked about, Mike just talked about it. I think watch out. I mean, these guys have only been in business a year, and they're already making a tremendous impact on the market. So when you think of the RTD market and what these guys are going to do, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. Can't wait to get my free cases when they're going to send them to me so I can promote them. But it's awesome to see because they have such a fantastic product to build around, and I think they have the idea to build it out.
Yeah.
You guys sent me the picture. We gotta show the audience this real quick. Look at that tailgate right there.
That's a typical Saturday at the Mountaineer Brothers Blue Lot tailgate. Yep.
Well, don't tempt us with a good time. Jeez. Looks like a blast. So let me ask you guys. Obviously, you're lifelong West Virginia super fans. We clearly have grasped that. I know you guys have some promotions you coming up that you want to announce, but also what's next? Give us the whole rundown of what's coming with football season around the corner.
Yeah, well, if I can just mention real quickly, so right now this is active right now. Mountaineer Brothers is giving away 2 VIP Touchdown Terrace tickets for the home opener. Go to our website for details. Also, we want to just mention again that Mountaineer Brothers has a 19. This is something that I just feel is unique to Mountaineer Brothers. Okay, if anybody else has this, I'd love to know about it. Mountaineer Brothers has a 19-song unique album that is available for download on our website. And these are all songs related to the Blue Lot life. Okay. And like tomorrow is August 1st. You need to get on there. You need to listen to these songs. You need to start getting jacked up for the home opener. And as far as what's coming down the pike, we have a lot of ideas. A lot of them that are top secret, you know what I mean? But we're talking about doing RTDs. We're talking about doing beers, possibly variations on our whiskeys. So, you know, the whole gamut is a possibility.
That's fantastic, gentlemen. Let me before we let you guys go, it's Rich Rod's back. You kind of get that feeling of nostalgia coming back this season. Predictions this year. How do you think West Virginia football does?
Go ahead.
Well, start out with all right, Tim. We're gonna put you on first.
Well, you know, I'll probably be like Rich Rod. I'll probably go up and down. I saw the interview from this morning. He wasn't real happy about day 2 practice. So hopefully day 3 today went a little bit better. But I am so excited about having him back. Actually, I know there's a lot. He brings that fire and energy to the team that I think we were just missing the last few years. I actually had the pleasure. We graduated high school the same year. He was at North Marion. I was at Martinsburg High. Played basketball against one another, and then actually played in the parking lot there at Towers.
Rich, you hear that? Tim kicked your ass in basketball.
Tim is
I didn't say that.
Tim wants to Oklahoma drills.
Record.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun to see him as he's grown through his career, you know, kind of coming up in high school and stuff with him. So I'm tremendously excited. I mean, I think they're definitely going to overachieve with the predictions. I think most predictors have them about halfway there in the middle of the pack on the Big 12. I expect them to be right there in the hunt toward the end of the season.
Love it.
I'm super jacked. I mean, you know, I know that a lot of people had, mixed feelings about Rich Rod coming back, you know, but the one thing that is undeniable is that Rich Rod brought us to as close to the promised land, you know, as anybody ever has since Don Nealon. And I love Rich Rod's attitude. And we have something that is extremely unique right now, in that Rich Rod has stated that this is his last job. Okay. So unless he gets fired, he's not going anywhere. And nobody else really in the country can say that about their coach. I'm very, very confident that Rich Rod is going to do a great job. I mean, obviously we have a challenging season coming up, but the enthusiasm has got to be sky high. And even the doubters and even the people that were not on board with Rich Rod, he wins a couple games, got to beat Pitt, of course. They'll all be, I mean, I think it'll go through the roof.
Love it. So I'm going to hit you guys with one more question before we cut out. So I've been on this show numerous times where I say that I feel from a program standpoint that Neil Brown was the worst coach in program history. And I'm not, look, I get it. Everybody wants to move on. We get it. I appreciate your input on Rich Rod. But when you think about that 6-year stint we had with Neil Brown, not being ranked in the top 25, won some bowl games, very minimal bowl games, not really any marquee wins. You think of Dana and all the wins he had, right? Like he had some marquee wins, Orange Bowl, Texas, etc. Do you guys feel that Neil Brown was the worst coach in Mountaineer history? Tim, go start with you. What do you think?
I'm not going to even respond to that question.
Tim, you didn't tell me you're on Neil Brown's payroll. Come on, man.
Here's what I'll say. Coach Stewart was way underrated. Okay, that's how I'll answer that. And I mean, I know that's a non-answer, but the fact that they play his video in the stadium, I mean, Coach Stewart embodied what it was to be a Mountaineer. I mean, he was put into a tough situation. I think he got done wrong. I don't have any comment about Neil Brown.
Wow. All right. You guys both sidestep that. So we're going to have to look into the partnerships agreement, Blue Lot Bourbon, but we appreciate you both. Love you.
Yeah. You gotta stay positive about the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's a family.
Positivity does not regard accountability, my man.
Yeah,
you know that.
No, I want to win. Believe me, I'm all about the winning. And this is what I love about Rich Rod, and this is what I missed about Rich Rod. If you ever watch him, the thing I remember about Rich Rod when he was here before, and I hope he brought this back with him, I love the way he chewed a guy out from the side of his mouth. Like, I just love that, and I just hope that still works today the way it did back in the day. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate this sponsorship. We look forward to this partnership, and we'll see you guys out in the Blue Lot.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having us on, and it was great. We really apprate it.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate
Have a good day, guys. See you.
All right. Take
you. All right, my guy. Rush.
What's up, Bernie?
Bernie and Rush for the first time. I love it.
First of many times. That was great listening to Mike and Tim, and we appreciate all that they're doing with Blue Lot Bourbon and the partnership we have and the joint tailgates that we'll be doing there. So everyone, of course, go check out Blue Lot Bourbon and grab it while you can. You never know if you'll see it again when you go back to stores. But Bernie, I feel like this is a good episode because I think today was officially transition day. It crushes my soul that the TB team lost. Best Virginia. Hey, shout out to them making it as far as they did. The Final Four had a chance to go to the championship there, but it happens. I think we're officially in all eyes on football season. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, shout out to J-Flow. I love John Flowers. I've said it numerous times. I know that he's been a huge part of West Virginia, even if he's not playing as much. He's an awesome guy, and I love that whole team. What they did this year, awesome. They should be very proud of it. Nothing but love. But like you said, now we're looking, and I think that was like the last tether of something fun that we were looking at as West Virginia fans. Going into the off season. And I can't wait for football, man. Like, I really just hope we get past a lot of this legal BS that we're dealing with right now with a few of our key players and just get them out of it, because I don't think it's fair to anybody. But look, I'm really excited. This is the most excited I've been for a football season in 20 years. 100%.
You definitely feel a spirit that we haven't felt here in a while. And I think it's across the board, right? Ren Baker signs the extension. Who knows how long he'll really be here, but it's at least he'll be here for a little bit. New president coming in. Extension. Yeah. We got Rich Rod coming back. All the media we have with Pat McAfee, looking forward to Ross Hodge and everything that we got going on. So I really do feel this is that new era of West Virginia where beyond football, I mean, even baseball with Sabins, Kellogg with women's basketball is like, I don't know the last time, if ever in my lifetime, I'll say that I felt this like, oh, like we're kind of good everywhere. And football is definitely needs to set the tone for this, right? There are questions with Rich Rod and there are questions about this roster, as there should be. But as West Virginians, what do we do best? We do best when our back's against the wall, when everyone's going to count us out. And like we were just talking about with the Mountaineer Brothers, I know we bring up Neil Brown here from time to time, but at least we know with Rich Rod, there's going to be a lot of wait and see how it turns out. But we know we'll be fighting till that last whistle's blown, until the clock say 000s on it. And how many times did we go in the fourth quarter with Neil Brown being like, oh, like we know where this is going. Like we know what's about to happen. So at a minimum, we know with this football team coming up here, there's going to be fight. And I don't know the last time I really truly said that and meant it. I've said it, but there's always that thought in the back of your mind, like, do you mean it?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, man, I've said it before and I'll say it again. And we could talk about Neil Brown till we're blue in the face. I tend to focus on him just because of how disappointed I was from his tenure and, just what happened. But at the end of the day, when you see the players posting about how difficult the practices are and how challenging they are, and you have guys that are 4- and 5-star studs that are being like, oh my God, I vomited. And like Rich Rod made me do. That's how you have a program that's built on toughness and a program that's built on a different mental aspect, right? Like you said, the games we lost under Neil Brown, the thing that irritated me the most is not because Neil Brown was, totally inept coach. It's just the games that he coached, we should have won. And especially against Pitt, right? Like the two Pitt games, we should not have lost those games. Anybody that's a Mountaineer fan, okay, you get a pass, you lose to anybody else. Ball State, Appalachian State, I don't care. You lose to Pitt when you should have won both those games, that's a problem. And Narduzzi uses it all the time to just trash us. And I get in these stupid arguments with people on that. Look, I think, and we've seen it, some of the projections that have been out there have been like, oh, the Mountaineers are going to go 1-10 or whatever it is. The people that are projecting us to lose are so stupid because they don't know the program. I truly believe this year we are going to win minimal 8 games, definitely going bowling, but we are definitely going to have a shot to compete this year because I think Rich Rod, it might be a bumpy first 4 or 5 games, but if we could get through those games, we're going to be a team to deal with as the year goes on because he's only going to have his players get better.
No one's going to want to play us at the end of the season. I completely agree with that. Don't get me wrong. The game I'm really worried about is that, and we'll break this down in weeks to come. Is that Ohio game? Yeah, good old our former athletic director scheduling that one. That was a brilliant move there. But I digress. But I'm with you. As the season goes on, no one's gonna want to play us, and we know that we're gonna be fighting the whole time. So there may be an adjustment period. It happens. It's great. Rich Rod's back, but he does get a little bit of the leniency of being a new coach. So, it's there's turnover time. It happens. But hey, I think leading off the season with the Robert Morris, good local school, can set the tone and get things right. So hopefully we get that win out in Ohio. But I know we'll be talking about this a lot, game by game. Do you have any final thoughts for this episode? Great episode. It was awesome having Mike and Tim on.
No, I mean, look, for everybody that doesn't understand the possibilities that you could create just from being a WVU alumni, I thought that was the biggest thing I took away from that, right? Like, you have two friends. I think Mike told me they actually have a group of like 4 friends that are all involved, but Mike and Tim are kind of the guys that make the wheel go around. Think of that, right? Like, yeah, this group of friends that came together at WVU that had this passion around enjoying their time at the Blue Lot, and then they create this bourbon, and it turns out to be a fantastic bourbon. And now they're building it, and it's just amazing, right? Like, this is the ties that we have at West Virginia, where you have people that don't realize their potential. And I love the fact that these guys looked at it and said, you know what, we're going to do it. We're going to do it for fun. But if it makes money, great. And now they're at a point where they're making so much money that they have to look to expand it. And again, it's the ties that bind at West Virginia, your time there. For everybody that's watching, young kids, everything, that's how you have to think, is these people that you're going to go through these next 4 years with are going to be your brothers, sisters, one way or the other. You're always going to have that connection, and it's awesome because it's never going to be replaced because it's unique. So that's what I take away from it.
Amen. Couldn't agree with you more. But everyone, we'll be back next week. As we hinted at, a lot of football to get ready for and to discuss. But until then, we will see you all again real soon. And let's go, Mountaineers.
I'm following like Voice of Morgantown and like
Sure.